Patriji, Swarnamala Patriji, all Astro Masters, Grand Masters, Pyramid Masters, and everyone in this platform at this moment. Welcome everyone to our Cosmic Shifters Malaysia in collaboration with PSSM Malaysia platform. Today we are going to have Master Sri Devi Garu all the way from India. Welcome, Master. So she's going to, she's going to talk about different angle of spirituality. And before that, I would like to introduce our Master Sri Devina. She has been with Anapanasati meditation since 2008, and she has been all the while doing in Patriji's English sessions translation to Telugu session, and she's also doing guided meditation in Telugu, Hindi, and also English session. Yeah, this is all about her, and let's welcome.
Little more to add, Venima. Just little more to add. And I think all of you know Sri Devi Garu because she comes here very often, and she's a familiar figure in Malaysia. And she has so much of wisdom to share on divine feminine sangha. But today, she is taken a different topic, different angles of spirituality. So we are actually, all of us are here waiting to hear from you. Over to you, Sri Devi Garu. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Hi, friends. First of all, I would like to bow down to our Guru, the founder of Pyramid Spiritual Society's movements, Dr. Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji, and also Patri Ma'am. And I would also like to thank Tila Ma'am, Krishnavini Garu, and all the team members. Thank you for giving me such a wonderful opportunity. And this is a wonderful platform where it's reaching so many people. And I would like to thank all the participants. Thank you. So friends, today we are going to learn about spirituality where the same thing is learned in various angles. Actually, whatever is there, only one thing is there. There are no, so many things are not there for us to understand. Actually, only one thing is there. But that one thing we are learning and we are exploring it in different angles. It is like the same thing as in cricket. The ball is taken and it is thrown onto the batsman, bowling. So ball is one, bowler is one. There's no, the bowler is not going to change. The ball is also not going to be changed. But we can hit many balls through, we can bowl in very many angles. It is the same thing as you can swing the ball, pace, googly, short length, long length, bouncer, yorker, or you can full toss also. Isn't it? In the same way, we are not going to change. The thing which we are studying is also not going to be changed. But we are studying it in different angles. We are all here to learn about the spirituality. And that spirituality is very small and simple thing. And it's actually, it's one and only the one thing. It's not going to be changed. We are learning it in different angles. As the bowler, so the batsman. The ball which comes to the batsman hits it with his bat. The bat is not going to be changed. The batsman is also not going to be changed. but he can hit it in many angles. Ground shot, block, he can also block it, cut, block. Whatever he needs, he can he can hit the ball. He can also hit the ball to 6 or 4 runs. Or he can even tap it and just take a single run, isn't it? The thing is, only one thing is there. But we are learning it in many angles. He can even hit a helicopter shot, isn't it? It's the same way as in music. The music is music. It's only one thing. But Western type is there, folk music is there, Carnatic music is there. So in that same music also, we can have so many types of ragas. We can't even count them. There are many, many, many ragas. In the same way, in that music itself, we can find many, many talas are there in music. There are so many gamakas. There are so many srutis also. If we change even one thing, everything gets changed. Even the laya, so many layas are there. All those things put together is called Sangit, music. In the same way, spirituality is only one. There's no different spiritualities. But the seer, when the observer, when we see it in different angle, then what is observed is going to be changed. We are seeing the same thing, but according to our perception, what we see is changing. For example, the sun is rising in the east daily in the same manner. But do we see it in the same way? Sun is rising, we are only seeing it. But are we seeing it in the same way? No. If we have not slept throughout the night, then in the morning, if we see the sun, it's a different sun. But if we have fought with our family members or someone else, and then see the same sunrise, it appears to us in different way. If we bathe and see, even then it's different. And if we do meditation and then see that same sun, it will be a wonderful thing, isn't it? The same sun. It may, one day we like it, one day we may not like it. If the climate changes, even then we don't like the sun one day and we like the sun one day. If the sun is very high, we feel that in summer, we feel that, well, it's very hot. We are not able to bear it, isn't it? I would like to share one small example of my daughter here. Well, once she went to a temple in Andhra Pradesh, Kalahasti. So there, while going into the temple, we have to leave our slippers, isn't it? So she left it and went inside. She went there with her friends. But while coming out of the temple, they led her through another door. For a temple, there not be a single door. We can get to the temple with so many roads, isn't it? We can get to the temple along with these so many roads, and also apart from that, there may be 4 doors for the entrance of the temple. So in Kalahasti, they led her, the exit door was some other way. So when they come out of that another entrance, they were not wearing slippers. The sun was already up to the mid-sun. It was right above our head. At that time, it was a summer season running. So it was so hot from upside, and also the Mother Earth was very, very, very hot. We could not walk on the earth through our bare legs without slippers. It was so hot. So all were running, jumping here, there, but we can't do anything. We have to wait till we go to the slipper stand. So at that time, my daughter just changed her perception. She thought that the sun, the energies, the heat that I'm getting from the sun is not at all heat. It is the energy. She just changed her perception. At that instant, what happened? The heat did not bother her. Even though she was walking with her bare legs, it was not bothering. The heat did not bother her legs. She was walking normally. All were stunned. Hey, how can you walk like that in such a hot sun without slippers? All were asking. Well, when we change our perception, our reality changes. So friends, what we say is the spirituality is nothing more complicated. It's just a simple one thing. As the Upanishads say, Ekam Sat Vipura Bahura Vadanti. That means Ekam Sat. Whatever the truth is, only one truth is there. It's actually only one. Vipura, those who understand it. Those who see the truth. Those who understand the truth. Bahura Vadanti. They say it in different angles. So friends, while they are saying in different angles, the listeners, they also listen with different conceptions. Many understand according to their perception, isn't it? So friends, Ekam Sat, Vipura Bahura Vadanti. So those who see it, they see it with different angles. Those who say, they say it with different angles. Those who listen and those who understand, even their understanding is very different. So friends, today, as usually, we have learned the 5-finger concept many times, isn't it? Patri sir has explained these 5 fingers in very diverse way. So the same 5-finger concept today we are learning it in a different angle. So today's formula is 4 + 1, 5. 4 + 1, 5. So friends, 4. Body, mind, intellect, Atma, Paramatma, ya Sarvatma. Isn't it? We have heard this many times. So body is matter. Body is matter. Mind is thoughts. Intellect is our understanding. This is Atma. This is awareness. This is consciousness. And this is Sarvatma, super consciousness. Same thing. So matter, thoughts, intellect, our understanding. Here it is awareness. This is super consciousness. This is awareness or consciousness, and this is super consciousness. So 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. So friends, as long as you can see that this eye finger, it's very short, isn't it? This is, so we can say that eye is under the control of intellect, eye is under the control of mind, eye is under the control of body. As long as it is under the control of all these things, eye, this is the, actually it should be in Atma state, in awareness state. When it is associated with all these three, it becomes totally under the control of these three. Actually, these 4 are those 4 who take us to the burial ground. Those 4. Actually, a cinema in Telugu also has been released, on Aluguru. Those 4 who take us to the burial ground. Actually, if this eye is with this, actually they also, those 4 also will become a lifeless body one day or the other day, and they have to be taken to the burial ground by someone else. So friends, but this is Sarvatma. It is omnipresent. Vishnu, like Vishnu. Sarvatma, Sarvavyapitam. This is Atma and this is Sarvatma. When this Atma reaches Sarvatma, then this I gets dissolved and this I merges with Sarvatma. Then it comes to know that even this is me. It's not something different. Sarvatma is Atma. The same I. Actually, this is Brahma. This is Atma. This is Sarvatma. This is I means Aham. When this Aham merges with Brahma, Sarvatma Brahma, then it becomes as Aham Brahmasmi. Every omnipresent, present in everywhere. This I actually inspires to get and always tries to get connected with this Sarvatma. This Sarvatma doesn't tries to meet this Atma, meet this Aham. Only this Aham tries to get connected with this source, just like a small baby and the mother. Mother will be sitting there. The baby crawls here, goes there. It doesn't, mother doesn't want the baby to come near her very soon. Mother wants her baby to explore all the way. Let the baby enjoy it, isn't it? In the same way, Sarvatma has no hurry-burry for the Aham, for the Atma to get and come with and connect to the Sarvatma. The mother just sits and relaxes herself and enjoys her baby exploring all the areas. But if the baby falls, then also she doesn't react well. It has to learn so many things. That is the perception. But if the baby is going to indulge himself or herself in some dangerous situations, then the mother goes and lift the baby and come back to her, isn't it? When it's like this, when the baby is ready to go into a fire or touch some hot objects, the mother rushes and lifts her baby and helps her to come out of the danger. In the same way, Sarvatma also, it's just in a witness state and enjoying the exploring Aham, Atma. This Atma is a part of this Sarvatma, but actually it doesn't know that I'm a part of this Sarvatma. When it reaches this point only, it can understand that I am a part of this. It is in the same way as our finger is a part of our body. Our head, even our hair is a part of our body. Our leg, our hands, all these are parts of our bodies. But if the finger or the hand thinks that I'm separate, the body can't do anything. It just keeps on observing. So, in the same way, when this aham, when this I comes to an understanding that I am a part of this Sarvatma, only then we get enlightened. This is called Chinmudra. So the Sarvatma doesn't indulge itself into helping each and everyone. It just witnesses what we see, what we experience. Is the same thing as with the case of Prahalada and Narasimha Swami, Sri Mahavishnu. He helped and he, when the Prahalada was pushed by Hiranyakashipu's soldiers from the top of a hill, he didn't go to his help, but he caught him when he fall down. When the Prahalada fall down, he caught him, isn't it? In the same way as the mother didn't let her baby go into the fire. But here we have to be in that belief system that I'll get help when the situation urges or when the situation needs. But here, when this finger, this Atma, I, is associated with all these three fingers, it doesn't have that belief. How am I going to lead my life? Why should I lead this miserable life? Is the question this keeps on asking. Actually, this is awareness. So, when we get aware that we are a part of this Sarvatma, we won't worry at all. We lead a happy life. Satyameva Jayate, isn't it? Actually, truth always flourishes. This fingers through explanation of anything through the fingers is called mudra science. When we don't understand this mudra science, whatever we try to explain to others, they don't get understand. Well, this is Abhaya Mudra and this is Varada Mudra, isn't it? Actually, we see deities and gods and goddesses having this. It doesn't mean that come to me, I will help you. It's not like that. If when you are afraid, come to me, I'll give you strength and courage. It's not like that. Abhaya Mudra and Varada Mudra, what they say to us is, when you are courageous, when you are not afraid of anything or anybody, then you can get all the boons that God is, this God, the God within us is going to give. So whatever presence or whatever we have to gain, the boons, if we have to enjoy, if you like to enjoy all the boons that is given by the universe, we have to be in a fearless state. We have to be courageous. That is the sign of this Varada and Abhaya Mudra. So friends, this I, isn't it? This I explains us to be in awareness. Be aware. We say it like this, no, don't do wrong, any wrong. Do your homework, isn't it? So be aware. That's what we say with this finger. We don't use this finger, we don't use this finger, or you don't use this finger. Be aware, isn't it? So this is the finger for awareness. It teaches us to be aware. It's not the awareness to all the other persons. It's not to threaten other people. It's a sign that we have to be in awareness each and every minute, each and every second. That is the example, that is the sign that is indicated by this finger. When this awareness reaches to this Sarvatma, that is omnipresent state, then it can understand that I am a part of this omnipresent God. Actually, this finger tries to reach here. Actually, it doesn't know from where it came or where it has to go, but it always tries to reach its destination. From where I have come, I have to reach. But actually, it's like a grape which we don't find it easily. For how can we find anything that is everywhere? It will be like a fish searching for the ocean. It's like a fish searching for water. Unless and until the fish comes to know that I'm in water, I'm in water of an ocean, only then it can experience and enjoys it. So until the fish thrives and understands it, it can't be understood by that fish. In the same way, we here, Jivatma, in the form of Jivatma, have to do meditation and come to know that I'm everywhere. I'm not this I. I'm not egoist I. I am this wonderful, omnipresent I. I am this Brahma Padartha. Aham Brahmasmi. Tatvamasi. I am that God, omnipresent God, and you are also a God. This knowledge will be gained only when we do meditation, friends. Actually, this Sarvatma, until this Atma reaches here, it will be in a happy, blissful state. Actually, a saying goes like this, for a rat is being chased by a cat. For cat, it's a play, but for rat, it's a life and death matter. It will be like that. For us, we are crying, we are, many emotions are being faced by us. But Sarvatma isn't any way affected by this. But when it reaches here, it hugs it. Wow, you have at last, finally, you have reached me. It will be very happy. As the same way when a child comes to its mother after roaming, crawling all here and there, when it reaches his mother, the mother hugs the baby and gives him the milk, isn't it? In the same way, the Sarvatma feels very happy. But until this eye reaches here, it doesn't go and help it to come here. It doesn't go and takes our hand and lead our way. We have to find our own way. Actually, a sloka is there in Mandoka Upanishad, where we can see that Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakaya Samanam Vruksham Parishasvajate. That means Dva Suparna, two birds with golden aura or golden body are on the same tree. Sayuja, Sakaya, Samana Vruksham are on the same tree. There, one bird is on the higher branch, the other bird is on the lower branch. The lower branch bird is eating all the fruits which are sweet and which are not also sweet. It looks up and thinks that, hey, how am I that bird is actually the bird which is on the upper branch is not eating anything also. So it thinks that why is it not eating? How can it be there without eating? But slowly and slowly, the bird which is on the lower branch, by eating all here and there fruits, then reaches for the fruits on the upper branch. And like that, it reaches to the branch where the upper bird is there. At that moment, it comes to the its awareness that this is not different from me. This is I and this and I are same. It's actually a wonderful sloka which is explained by Patri sir many times. So friends, our Upanishads say that Jnanam Muktihi. When we do meditation and gain wisdom, only then we get liberated from all our sufferings. Only through wisdom, only through the knowingness, we can gain many things, friends. Without knowledge, we can't do anything. We may have so much of knowledge, but it has to be implemented by us. When we don't implement anything, even then we are not going to get benefits in any way. So friends, when this finger reaches this finger, this is called Chin Mudra. Actually, so many do meditation by using this mudra or this mudra. It is the mudra that is seen, that is shown as a person who has reached its enlightened state. When this merges or reaches this finger, he is enlightened person, as our Buddha Bhagavan. Actually, the person who is in this state He's called Bhagavan. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, Buddha Bhagavan. The person who is in this state is also called as Paramatma, Sri Krishna Paramatma. So friends, this is just a sign, but the method of doing meditation is clasp your fingers, fingers into fingers, sit on the floor. You don't have to sit straight. Anapanasati meditation is relax your body. Sthira Sukha Asana. Your asana should be as per your comfort, but it has to be maintained throughout the meditation. It is as the Arjuna saw the bird's eye only. He didn't see many other things, isn't it? But Duryodhana saw the whole tree. He was not able to see the eye for his archery. In the same way, our observation, our mind should be only on our breath. That is taking on, going on itself. It's simple, smooth, tranquil, without any effort. Our observation should not be on our body while doing meditation. When our observation is on our body, it will be as though the Duryodhana is seeing the whole tree. Our observation need not be on this body. When you observe your breath, our observation, our mind should be only on our breath. Then what all should go on, all the processes will automatically happen. Our Kundalini rises, we get all our ill health cleared, all our blocks removed, and this body will be regained, it regenerates itself with the cosmic energy. So friends, actually what we came to the conclusion is that the reality is one. We have to see it in a different angle. We meet many times, but we are discussing a single point in many different angles. Many persons come and express different angles according to their view. But what are they explaining, or what are we discussing about spirituality? That is reaching here. We should be in omnipresent state. A small story is like that, friends. Once upon a time, when Gurukulas were being run by gurus, at that time, Guru, the one who is teaching, thought of giving a test to all his disciples. They were small kids also. So he told that, well, he brought a basket full of apples and told his disciples that, well, go and each one have an apple, and each one eat it in such a place that nobody is seeing you. So all the disciples take one apple and go into different places, and after some time all returns. Nobody is having an apple in their hand except one person, one small kid. So the Guru asks, what happened? Why didn't you eat this apple? Well, he replies that I have not found a place where nobody is seeing me. You have asked me to eat this apple where nobody is seeing you. Well, Guru asks, You didn't find such a place that nobody is seeing you? He asks. So he explains that a disciple explains it that, well, wherever I go, I'm seeing God. Then how can I eat it without God seeing this? So we have to have such an perception that we have to be able to see God everywhere. But we are not capable of seeing God everywhere. So we have limited the God to our puja rooms or temples, or instead of we ourselves expanding, we have limited the God to some corner, isn't it? Well, I asked one question to my mother's sister when I was a small kid. Why should we worship God only in that area? So my mother's sister explained me that how can we be pure everywhere? When we limit God to one such limited place, then we can be pure at that time itself, at that place itself. So is there no necessary for us to be pure outside our temples or outside our puja rooms? It's not like that, no. When we are pure everywhere, when we are aware that God is watching us, whatever we do, can we be able to do any mistakes at that time? Well, in examinations, when the invigilator is seeing, we cannot copy, isn't it? In the same way, we should be aware that God is watching us. It's not that God didn't come to our help, or we are not under the eyes of God. He's always watching us. But we have to be very aware that he's watching us. When we do puja or anything, we believe that he can hear us, isn't it? God hears our prayers and answers it. With that belief only we do all those worships. But why are we not having this perception that when we are thinking or when we are having any thought of doing any bad to others, is God not seeing you? It's not like that. He's everywhere. So he's seeing us. So we should have that perception. Then everything changes. We actually become aware and our consciousness expands and our consciousness merges with the Sarvatma. Then we actually don't have to be worried, or our life just goes on in a blissful state, isn't it? So friends, when we understand this spirituality, only then if we have to understand this spirituality, there is only and only one way, that is Anapanasati meditation. There's no other way. When we do this, the outcome result will be fine. 4 + 1. So when, as long as this is associated with this is different, this far away. This intellect cannot reach Sarvatma. This mind cannot reach this Sarvatma. This body cannot reach this Sarvatma. Only this Atma, this is I self, this consciousness can reach this. So for reaching this, we have to do meditation. Then it doesn't get itself associated with this. It separates itself with the energy that we give and be in this Chin Mudra, that is blissful state, enlightened state, Brahmarshi state. So friends, that is all about today's different angle of spirituality. And thank you for giving me such wonderful opportunity, ma'am. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Very nicely explained. Amazing explanation. And someone here is Master Sumitra, say that good teacher, and then she give a clap to you. So nicely express everything. Thank you very much, Sri Devi Garu. And anyone have any question to ask? Tilama, you have anything to say?
Yes, thank you for a wonderful explanation, very informative. You talked so much about awareness, being in awareness at all times is very, very important. And I think everyone is, with this meditation with Anapanasati, everyone is actually learning to be in awareness.
Yes.
So that is something great, There are lots of things that we are learning.
Yes.
Okay. Due to time limit, we will take one last question. Please open for questions, Benima.
Yeah. Anyone have any question? You can raise your hand, please. Just one last question. Usha Manimaran say, wonderful sharing, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, I think everyone has understood you so well that they have no questions. So with that, I thank you so much for coming to our session.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I will connecting you with you again because I would like to go on a few lessons, So I will connect with you and we'll think about a topic that we can
Sure.
cover. Okay? So
Sure.
thank you so much.
And, ma'am, I would like to convey our wishes on this starting day of Navaratri.
Yes. Yes.
Dasara celebrations started. Congratulations to all.
So perhaps next week we can talk about Navaratri.
Next week, ma'am?
Yeah, next week, Tuesday.
Well, I'll have
Look at
a
the schedule. Look at the
Yeah.
schedule first. Okay?
Yes.
Definitely. We'll come back to you. Okay.
And
With that,
thank you all.
over to you,
Yeah.
Ranima.
Yeah. In fact, Sri Devi Garu, we miss your meditation, guided meditation from you. Always will be a wonderful one. We missed it. Okay, thank you very much. And thank you to everyone attended this session at this moment. Thank you very much. Connect back with us tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to have book reading session on English session. Yeah, English is an English book reading session. Please connect tomorrow at 8 o'clock Malaysia time. Thank you very much, everyone.
And
This-
one information.
Thank you very much.
One
Thank you,
information
ma'am.
that
Thank you, Krishnaveni, ma'am.
thank you, Sri Devi Garu. One last information, we have Navaratri meditation at 3 a.m. Malaysian time. Please do join us for the next 9 days. We'll be having 3 a.m. meditation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. I'll end the session now. Thank you.